All right, so I want to start getting back into my news videos. I kind of fell off, with things in life. You kind of lose track and your mind starts wandering, but it's time to refocus. But before we go back into that, because everything ties into each other. Nothing is a coincidence. And nothing is unimportant. All of these things that we're discussing, from child sex trafficking to the government spying on citizens to vaccines killing us to, all of these different things that we discuss, the abuse of women, how the elites use women to satisfy them, and obviously destroying the women in the process. Which is why it has to be taught to the children how these people operate. They don't like you unless you have something to offer them. And once you give them that, they're most likely going to get rid of you. That's what happens in these industries and with these elite people. That's why I put my faith and love into the common man rather than praising these celebrities that don't do anything for us. But let's get into this Michael thing one more time. Probably not one more time. I'll make updated videos here and there. Disclaimer, I haven't watched the documentary. I don't need to watch the documentary to know what's in it. You see, I'm not an intelligent human being. I don't read that much. I just work my ass off and just say how I feel about certain things. But I can feel, I can understand the way that the world is moving in these times and why all these things are occurring. This Michael and Oprah thing ties directly into all of these things, right? Michael was accused of being a molester, even though he's hung out with hundreds of children. You have these two guys now who are grown men coming back and rehashing these lies that were proven false in court and by the FBI, and Michael never had to pay. It was his insurance company that ended up paying. But in the documentary, there are parts where the guy is accusing Michael of molesting him in a spot in the ranch. Come to find out that the guy was lying. So, report, leaving Neverland, discrepancy found in key part of film denouncing Michael Jackson. A British journalist, shout out to the people overseas that have been on top of this. Again, the American media is a part of this. They are on Oprah's side, so they're not going to be talking about these things like they have been overseas, because Michael was loved overseas up until the day that he died. Here in America, we let him go when these allegations came out. And we tend to do that for people who are real and loving and honest and caring people, and we let people who abuse us just slide and do what they want. Documentary raising questions about the film's credibility and its graphic molestation allegations against the late international entertainment icon Michael Jackson. Since its release a month ago, several tabloids in the United Kingdom have published a series of critiques based on the research of reporter Mike Smallcombe, who also authored a biography of the King of Pop. He says his most damaging discovery focuses on the claim made by James Safechuck, his name is James Safechuck, who has repeatedly said that he was sexually abused by Michael Jackson from 1988 to 1992, ending when he was 14. In what the New York Times described as one of the most uncomfortable sequences in the film. Safechuck recounted location on Michael Jackson's California Neverland Valley Ranch, where he said inappropriate interactions took place. At the train station, this is a quote by him, Safechuck. At the train station, there was a room upstairs, and we would have sex up there too. However, Smallcombe obtained building permits last week that says discredits Safechuck's story. Construction on Neverland's train station didn't start until the latter part of 1993, and it didn't open up until 1994 when Safechuck was 16. So this is 2 years after the kid said the abuse stopped, is when this room that he was apparently in was created. Right? So everybody's following me so far? The room was created in 94. The kid said he was abused in 92. That's a pretty big gap. So abuse in the train station wasn't possible if the abuse stopped in 92, as he claims in his testimony, as it didn't even exist. Between February 1994, and this is where it gets, this is why Trump is on Michael's side, and he has no problem holding up photos of Michael and him together, because Trump knows the truth.
Well, I could, but it's a difficult area, and you have to go through this town, and as you know, they drove him crazy. The interesting thing is I've known Michael from many different standpoints, and Michael would spend a lot of time with my kids. I have beautiful kids, and at the time, like at Mar-a-Lago, and even in Trump Tower, the kids were very young. Michael would come, play with the kids. He just loved children. He was not a child molester, and I am certain of that. He loved children. He'd play with my son Eric and my son Donald, and he'd just play with them forever. He loved children, but he was not a child molester. And, that whole final saga of Neverland and the police and what they did was, I think, a very, very bad part of Michael's life.
Are you coming out for the service?
And here is part of it. Between February 94 and December 94, Jackson was living in Trump Tower in New York recording his History album. By the time Jackson was at Neverland and the train station was actually open, it was early 1995, 3 years after Safechuck said the abuse stopped. This is 3 years now. So I was saying 2, it's actually a 3-year span. And by then, Safechuck was 17 and on the cusp of adulthood. Leaving Neverland director Dan Reed acknowledged that Safechuck's timeline of the events was flawed, but continued to defend his accusations. Of course he is. Of course he is. This director is probably involved in all sorts of abuses with women and things like that. Look at Harvey Weinstein. And this is where I'm going to get into Oprah Winfrey now. Because I got a question by one of my favorite Instagram followers, Wake Up with Linda. In the caption that I put up, I said, now Oprah is deleting everything from her accounts. And what I was referring to was apparently on her YouTube account, which I have gone and looked. I'm going to actually, sit down and click on each video and make sure there are no more videos of these interviews left. But apparently she went through and deleted all the Leaving Neverland interviews from her YouTube, and in the past couple of days has uploaded at least a dozen to 24 other videos. So it's like she's drowning out her feed, right? So that, if people don't notice, but come on, people notice everything, right? She goes, and I say, it appears she deleted all the Leaving Neverland interviews from her YouTube account. I checked earlier and she posted a ton of videos in the last couple of days appearing to drown out her feed. And she asked a great question, but for what purpose? I can't stand her. I can't believe she's doing this to Michael. And this is the reason that I feel is why Oprah is doing this to people like Michael, and why the media is going after people like Bill Cosby and R. Kelly, is because we haven't even scratched the surface of the people who are really doing the abuses. Oprah, why is it more important for you to bring up fake accusations about Michael that was proven false by the FBI, proven false in court, and now according to their own timeline has been proven false yet again? Why are we doing this to someone who is no longer with us, who was an absolutely amazing human being, who put out the greatest music and the greatest entertainment and had the most flawless outfits, and his character was unbelievable if you just sit and watch his interviews and videos? remove this mind frame, especially in men, where you have to be hard all the time and gangster, and if you aren't, then you're gay or weak or soft or whatever it is that, you know, we love to come up with. Michael was a loving human being. What we have to get to in society is where men, and this is what I want to teach my children. This is why I need a wife who is comfortable with emotion and love and all of these different things. Because when I'm home, I don't want a single piece of anger inside of me. I don't want any anger, any, just being pissed off. I don't want any of that. I want straight love and caring and affection. But when we're out on the road and out on the street and something happens, yeah, obviously you want to be able to defend yourself. You want to be a man at that moment. There is nothing wrong with being soft inside your house and being a man on the streets. This is the problem with society right now. So Michael was just this loving person, so that automatically made him a great target for these accusations. Even though all he was doing was helping children with cancer, helping people with abuses that he went through as a child, because his father, as everybody knows, was extremely abusive to them. Even might have chemically castrated Michael to keep his voice intact. So he was a great target for this. But yet we don't investigate people like Harvey Weinstein. We don't investigate people like Oprah Winfrey, who has schools in Africa that have several rape allegations that have occurred there. And where her school is at, you would think, right, as a normal human being, if Oprah Winfrey has a school somewhere, it's because they're uplifting that community. Oprah Winfrey has had schools in those places. When did Oprah open her schools in Africa? 2002, it appears that 2007. So it looks like they started in 2002 and it was finished in 2007. Now mind you, you would think that if Oprah has a school in Africa, that place would be an uplifting place where people are living like we are here in America, somewhat normal. Obviously, we have moved away from normal and taken up the drinking and partying and raping and abusing women and all these different things. You would think that in Africa, she would put it in a place where it's going to benefit the girls there, not put them in more jeopardy of being abused. But apparently... So I did get a new memory card, but apparently it's not the memory card, and I got like the most expensive one I could find. So I'll probably have to buy a new camera at some point. But apparently where her schools are, these girls are being raped by the tens of thousands, let alone just, you know, how it is here in America, which is still unfortunate. So we're investigating and putting all this energy into someone who is no longer with us, that was proven innocent by the FBI and in the court, never had to pay money except for his insurance company who decided to pay the money. But yet we allow these things to occur. So this is why I think Oprah, when she says, but for what purpose? I can't stand her. I can't believe she's doing this to Michael. It is for the purpose to keep the heat off of them. But this is why she would delete everything, right? She would delete it now because not only is it coming out that it's all fake, Trump is making serious progress on attacking these people, as we can see through this college scandal, as we can see now that he was spied on, according to the Attorney General himself. I do believe spying occurred. It is now up to me to try and figure out if they legally did it or illegally did it, which now implements Obama. Obama, you and Oprah are best friends. You, Oprah, what's his name? Jussie Smollett, Michelle Obama or Michael Obama, like Malik Obama said. Obama's own brother giving fuel to the conspiracy theory that Michelle is not Michelle. Be right back. So now it's not only my camera, but people interrupting me, and it looks like I'm going to be interrupted a little bit more. So he gave fuel to the conspiracy that it's Michael and not Michelle. Will we find out? I don't know, but Obama's own brother. So these are the reasons that I think Oprah is doing these things. It is a way for the elite to continue to try and distract from what they've been doing for so long, and keep it on people like Michael and Bill Cosby and easy targets that they can go after. The R. Kellys. You know, why isn't Oprah doing a video on her best friend, Harvey Weinstein? It is known of what he did, right? It's known throughout the industry. So, I'm going to cut this off. I don't want it to be too long now. But these are the reasons that I think Oprah is doing this, and we're going to find out. You know, am I right with my conspiracy that Oprah's involved in child sex trafficking in Africa, in her schools? Do these people go over there and use these children for their sick fantasies? I don't know, but it's very possible. It's very possible. And it's truly sad.